Hi Tim,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Very good. Very good to be in Amsterdam.
That's always nice to hear. Your new album is called Heal. It really sounds like a healing album.
Thank you.
And well, maybe we can start off with the first song,
Yes.
Goshen '97.
Yes.
17 years ago,
Yep.
what happened?
I was 15 years old, and I was that kid in school that was not the kid that was dating girls or getting to parties, and I was the kid that was in the basement, and I was not interested in the rest of the world. I was interested in making my own world and just like just trying to consume as much music and read as much as I could. And I was in just this little fortress in my parents' home, and it was the song said I was lonely, but I was having fun, and I couldn't say anything more honest, because you are lonely when you're little and you're isolated, but it's also fun because it's innocent and you're discovering things, and it's almost romantic to be lonely.
But if there is one thing that stands out from that period that you were interested in, what is it? Listening to music, you said reading books. Is there one thing that still stands out from '97, from this period?
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. It was Smashing Pumpkins. It was a double album. I was getting into music, and it was almost like a gift from the gods to receive this record of just. It was so powerful to me, and the music was loud, and it was soft, and it was synthetic, and it was guitar solos, and it really. I feel like a lot of people in their life, they're given something, and especially musicians, in one album. Well, when I say singing Pumpkins in the mirror, that was to that song, because it was like the first line is like, I feel that I'm ordinary just like everyone, but you're not ordinary, and it's like there's this drum fill that's the most massive drum fill you've ever heard, and it's the perfect song to air guitar to. So it was just, you're 15 and you're just like, you close your eyes and you imagine that you're at that stadium and you're playing in front of those people and the lights and people screaming, and it was make-believe, but it was also very real to me.
You said 70 years ago, 15 years old, were you playing your own music back
Yeah,
then?
I was just starting. I've played music for most of my life, but I was just starting to create music. It was a matter of. It wasn't good music. I'm glad I didn't record any of it, because I would not want to hear myself at 15. But it was so important for me, because when you don't talk to a lot of people, and when you don't have a lot of friends, to make music is so important to release something that you can't release to other people. And even if it's just playing bad guitar, it means everything.
Is there? Let me just check if I have. Is there a song that you wrote yourself, even if it's not good, but that you still recall the lyrics of or the theme of during that period?
It was A Girl Broke My Heart. I think her name was Autumn. And she broke my heart, and I wrote a song called I'm Not Over You. And it was basically, that's all that was written. I'm not over you, and I was playing fast punk chords, and it was a 3-chord song, and it was, I'm Not Over You. That was me at 15.
15. Can you describe the mood you were in when you wrote this song? Why did you wrote it? What happened? Maybe you went through some old photographs, I don't know. What did you do?
I felt like the song itself came so naturally. I wrote the song very quickly, and it wasn't until after I wrote the song. It happens a lot that I write a song and I don't know what I'm talking about. And then after I write it, I listen back to it, and I'm like, what is this? I have to ask myself what the song means and why I wrote it. And I really believe that this Goshen '97 to me is like I say in it, starting over. And not just lyrically, but it's starting over musically. And it meant to me that I want this band to move into the future, and I don't want to make the same records over and over again. And I don't want to be the same person over and over again. Go ahead.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I feel like you get in these traps with age. You get older, and it becomes so easy. it's easier to do the same things over again than to try new things. And this song to me was my adventure into beginning new musics, new records, all that stuff.
So you feel the same way that you felt in '97?
I think so. And I didn't feel that way for a long time. I think I lost who I was at 15. And I found that person again. I found that innocence of just pure love.
How come you lost yourself?
You know, I think we make mistakes and we make these decisions in our life to not try as hard and not try, like relationships get hard to deal with, and you become more, I think the weight of the world gets to you, and you lose that joy and you lose that feeling of anything is possible. And simple things like being broke, not having any money, getting in fights with your wife, getting in fights with your friends, or losing loved ones, and drinking too much or taking too many drugs. It's all those things start taking away from where you were at 15. And when you're 15, you look at the world and everything's in front of you.
Did this feeling get to you gradually when you were 15? It slowly
built, and
slowly.
it was like a kettle coming to boil, and I was avoiding facing the problems, and I didn't want to recognize how bad things were getting.
And were there certain things that happened that speeded up the process?
Yeah, I think it was touring for 2 years straight and not being at home and never stopping to move. And that's one reason why I talk so much, and I always want to make jokes, and I always want to be this guy that is hyperactive. Is I fear silence and I fear stopping, because when you stop, you start thinking, and you start thinking for real thoughts. And what sped up the process of me starting over, like I said with the record, is I had 2 years of touring that was coming to an end, and I was actually in Europe, and I realized that I wasn't going to tour again for another year. And it was very scary for me to think that I had a whole year at home, and I had to face what was real about my life, instead of sometimes when you tour and if you play music and you're moving a lot, it's not reality. It's kind of like I always call it like Peter Pan world. You're in like Neverland or something.
And how come, but what happened then that made you, facing the life that you were leading that wasn't a good life?
It wasn't a bad life, but it wasn't a good life because I wasn't working hard enough to make it better. I was letting myself go with alcohol. I was letting myself go with my wife. I wasn't paying any attention to her. I wasn't really paying attention to myself. I let my health slip. I kind of stopped exercising. I stopped taking care of myself, and it wasn't anything specific. It was just a lot of small, general things.
But there must have been one point that you thought, well, this is enough. What was it? What fight? What did you do? Or what didn't you do?
I think I was playing a show in Sweden, and I had this amazing night where I met these people, and I was talking to these really nice people. And over the course of the conversation, I realized how lonely I was. And it wasn't anything, again, specific, but I realized, like, I have not connected with a human being in a long time. I'm surrounded by people. I talk all the time. But it was the first time I had this conversation where I was saying real things, and I was talking from, like, straight from my heart. And I kind of realized I was just completely full of I was just full of nothingness. I was speaking, I just was talking to talk, and I was playing music out of just the routine of it. And after this night, I think when you realize you're lonely, when you realize your life is, you're very isolated from people, it's horrifying because you don't know how to fix it, and you don't know how to fill anything with it. And that's where the record started being written. I was like, I need to fix this. I need to make this better.
What was the first song you wrote?
The first song I wrote was the song Heal, the title track. And I didn't know what the record was going to be. I had not written any songs. And I wrote Heal probably 6 hours after I landed from my flight from my last tour. And I sat down on my computer and I wrote it. I wrote the lyrics and everything just at that time.
Because that's a very personal song.
And that's what it was. And what it was so fresh. Like, that song was just, it was not me writing down lyrics. It was not me writing a song like a songwriter should. I just made something on my computer, music, and then I set up the microphone and I just yelled into the microphone. And then the lyrics happened. And I didn't go back and change any of them.
What was for you the most confronting lyric from that song?
It was, the most confronting lyric was, I said the name of a girl that broke my heart a long time ago. Her name was Caitlin. And I've written so many songs about her and being sad about my heart getting broken. And I've spent all this time thinking about it. But just saying her name out loud meant more than all of those songs are nothing compared to just, and she's a wonderful person and I haven't seen her in years, but it's not saying that she's bad or anything. It's just saying, time to stop letting this get to you. That's her name. Let it happen.
Were you maybe then walking away from dealing with?
Yeah, and I feel like once it did, it's like, you know, when you were little and you like, you might have stole like a piece of candy from a store, or you broke a window, and you don't tell your parents for weeks. And when you finally do tell them, you know you're going to get in trouble, but you feel better. You're like, okay, I've confessed. And that's what it felt like to say certain lyrics on this record. It felt like it's lifted now. It's no longer here and important.